Hey guys, welcome back to my IGTV. So today I want to talk to you about something I get DM'd about quite a lot, and the thing I never thought I would be the person getting asked this question. So every time it happens, it's actually like a bit of a surreal moment for me, because if you'd spoken to me last year, I would have never dreamed that I would be in the position where people are asking my advice, particularly on this topic. So the question is, how do I grow my Instagram following, and what are your top tips for doing that? First thing I want to say is there is no set formula. There isn't, steps 1, 2, 3, and this will guarantee that your following will grow. It's really something you have to feel out for yourself, and it takes some time to figure out. But in saying that, there are definitely some tips that I have learnt along my journey that I feel are really valuable and that could help anybody. So those are what I am going to be talking about today. So I guess I'll just start off by saying about December last year, I had approximately 2,000 followers and my engagement was pretty low, and that's how my account had been for over a year. Fast forward to today, I'm almost up to 30,000 followers, which is, somewhere I have only ever dreamed of being, but definitely not the end goal. I still have a long way to go. But in about 6 months, I've grown from 2,000 to 30,000, and my engagement has grown a lot as well. So I just wanted to share with you the things I have learned to get to this point. So, number one, and it's probably going to be obvious, you've heard it before, but stick to a tight niche and style. So with your niche, don't just think, okay, I'm going to be a travel blogger or a beauty blogger or a fashion blogger. Think another level on top of that. So really niche it down. So if you're looking at travel, maybe you're going to focus on tropical travel, or maybe you're going to focus on city travel, or maybe you're going to focus on the most colorful places to visit, or the most romantic places to visit, or the best places to visit as a couple or a solo traveler, or it could be anything. I'm just giving examples, but just really niche it down. Something that I spent a long time telling myself I didn't want to do because I didn't want to box myself in. But that was a really huge mistake that I made, because in trying to please everybody, I wasn't pleasing anybody because my content was just so scattered. So I can't stress enough how important that niching down is to do. And don't worry about putting yourself in a box, because you're going to grow an audience and you're going to, start finding new ways from there and new opportunities from there. In different ways you can grow your account and grow your business and grow your personal brand. So just make sure it's something you genuinely love and something that people are looking for, and you will figure it out. And I think it's also really important to just stick to this niche. I've seen it so many times, people talking about how they're frustrated that their Instagram is so restrictive. They can't just post whatever they like whenever they like. They have to stick to certain times and certain types of photos and certain types of editing. And yes, it's true, because if you want to grow your personal brand and you want to grow your audience, they need to know what to expect from you. If you just post a random picture of your dog and normally you're posting your outfit of the day, people are going to be really thrown off, and you're probably going to get some unfollows, because all of a sudden your followers will realize that they don't know what to expect from you anymore, and they didn't choose to follow you because they wanted to see photos of your dog. They chose to follow you because they wanted to see your outfits. So you can either just, if you want to post anything, anytime, whatever, just have an account for fun. Don't worry about numbers and growing. But if you really want to grow your personal brand and make something more out of this, you need to think about it in terms of being a business. It's not just a fun personal account, it's actually a business you're building, a personal brand you're building. So you need to think about it in terms of that. Number 2 is be you. I think it's really helpful when you're first starting out in content creation to get inspiration from what other people are doing, to look around, see what you like, see what you don't like, see what you feel like you might want to create. And I think it's totally okay to take that inspiration and to use it as a base for starting to create what you want to create. But I don't think it's okay to copy someone directly. And I think, you know, as long as you put your own spin on it and your own style and your own point of view, it's okay to be inspired by other people. I think that's really a good place to start, because in the beginning it can feel very overwhelming and very uncertain about what to create. So I used to do that. I used to spend a lot of time finding inspiration and ideas, and the more and more I practiced content creation, the better and better I got at just coming up with my own ideas and not needing to feel reassured by the fact that someone else has done something similar to this in the past. So it's really something that just comes with time. But yes, it's just important to be yourself, to be genuine to you, because if you are going to just go out and copy someone else, A, it's not the right thing to do for that person, and B, it's not going to stick because it's not you and it's not authentic, and you're forcing something that isn't going to last. You need to be doing something that just comes to you naturally. So be you. Number 3, and I know you would have heard this one before as well, is create quality content. And I think the thing that used to overwhelm me about this little piece of advice is that I felt like quality meant that my photos had to be photographer worthy photos, and in the beginning that felt impossible for me. So I think that's why I maybe didn't take this one as seriously as I should have. But quality content doesn't just mean that it looks good. Quality content means that it has value to someone else. So it could be, you know, that you're providing information that people are after that no one else is offering. Your captions are really funny and people laugh and get joy out of reading them. And if you're having trouble coming up with ideas about how to create quality content that offers value to other people, then just think about the things that your family and friends come to you asking advice about, because those are the things you're probably really naturally good at, you're passionate about, and things that you have content to offer other people. Number 4 is to make sure that you plan your feed to have a cohesive overall look, because what you need to remember is that people aren't going to decide to follow you based on one single post. They're going to jump over to your profile and they're going to look at your entire feed, and based on that they're going to decide, okay, this person creates content that I want to see, and based on what they've posted in the past, I know that whatever's coming next is something I'm going to want to see, and so this is someone I want to follow. One of the tools I rely on the most is a app called and there are plenty of different planning apps that you can use. This is just one that I've found that I like the best. So basically it allows you to preview what future posts will look like in your feed, and you can shuffle them around. You can even see what it would look like if you removed a post that you've already put up. I use that to really help balance out color and balance out light and dark and different subjects, so that my feed has variety, but so that it also has an overall look and feel. Number 5, post consistently. So this one for me is, I found that posting once per day is something that I am able to keep up with, and something that my followers enjoy. They like seeing updates from me once per day, but maybe for you it's once every second day, once every third day, whatever works for you, the ability you have for content output at this point in time, and also what your followers want to see from you. So you might want to experiment with that in the beginning. Number 6, tag accounts and use hashtags. These are 2 really good ways to get your profile seen, to get it out there to a new audience, to potential new followers. So when you're tagging accounts in your photo, you want to make sure you're picking accounts that your content aligns well with, and you want to make sure you're picking community accounts. So don't go and tag someone's personal account or someone's, like my account, don't just go and tag it in a photo that has nothing to do with me, because it's just a bit annoying, really. Instead, choose accounts that are potentially going to repost you, and accounts that you want to get onto their tagged feed section, because your content is relevant to what they're posting about. So community accounts exist for almost every single niche. There's travel, beauty, fashion, animals, whatever you can think of. I'm sure that they're out there. So just do a bit of research and find the ones that suit you, and then I've actually got a list that I keep in notes, and I just add to it whenever I find a new one, and when I'm posting I pick the most relevant accounts for that photo and at that time. And then hashtags, most of the time using my 30 hashtags, I've never found a problem with that. There are some people who say that you shouldn't use 30 hashtags, you should keep it maybe to 5 or 10. I don't know, really. It's different for everyone. I use 30, I don't have a problem with it. So again, it's one of those things you want to do a bit of research on. You want to make sure you're using tags with anywhere between 5,000 and 100,000 reposts. You don't want to go too small, because then you're not really getting much exposure out of it, but you also don't want to go too big, because then your photo is going to disappear in about 2 seconds flat after you've posted it. If it's a hashtag that's being used millions of times, it's getting used hundreds of times a minute, there's no point. So pick your hashtags wisely. Again, I have a notes in my phone that I can copy and paste from, and I just choose the most relevant hashtags for that photo at that time. Number 7, and probably one of the things that is most time consuming, is spending that time every single day engaging with accounts that you already follow, and also engaging with new accounts that you think might be interested in the content that you have to offer. So I mean, the more time you can spend, the better, but also it's sometimes not practical to be able to spend 4 hours a day engaging. So for me, I spend maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, some days less, rarely more. Really depends what my schedule is like, and if I'm traveling, or if I have other things that I need to get done for my blog or photo editing. So I mean, the more you can do it, the better it is for you, but also don't put too much pressure on yourself, because it can get a little overwhelming. So one of the best ways I've found in reaching out to new accounts or finding people that may potentially like your content is to go onto the pages of people who have a similar niche to you, and go through and click on their followers, and then you can scroll through that list and click into those accounts, like some of their photos, leave a nice comment. Don't be spammy, don't like use, copy and paste the same comment on every single person's account you see. Like, make it genuine, keep it real and relevant, and don't go too OTT with it. And it's just a really good way to get your account out there. Number 8, don't use bots and don't use follow unfollow. I know that there are still a lot of accounts who do these things, and it's a personal choice, whatever, but for me it's just not A, the right way to go about things, and B, you don't build a engaged following that way. So you might get the followers, but if you're getting them in that way, they're generally not going to be very attached to your content, because they haven't really chosen to follow you. They've sort of just followed you back. Also, Instagram is really cracking down on people who do use, or accounts who do use bots, and it has been said that they will punish you by restricting your reach of your posts. So I just don't think it's worth it, and yeah, it's not really going to build you a very engaged following anyway. Number 9, so this is a question I get a lot as well, and that is, do you know any pods I can join because I'm looking to get more engagement? Or would you like to join this pod that I'm creating? And you know what, I have no problem with pods. They're a great way to, when you're just starting out, to get to know other accounts and just to get the ball rolling. But for me, I decided to stop using them probably over 3 months ago now, just because I felt like they were so time consuming, and they also, you know, it feels a little bit unauthentic to force yourself to comment on a photo that you don't necessarily or wouldn't necessarily comment on if you weren't in this pod. So I find that my time is much better spent reaching out to new accounts rather than engaging with the same people over and over and over again. And I actually find that I'm growing more without pods than I was with them. So again, it may just be that's the way it's worked out for me, and I don't have a problem with them. And yes, it's a great way to meet people, and I think everyone should try it, but I have just decided that it's not for me, and I have more valuable ways to spend my time on Instagram. Number 10, and one of the things that I have really enjoyed the most about Instagram, is meeting up with other content creators. I find that it's a really great way to network, it's a great way to meet people, and it's also a great way to find those people who you might want to collaborate with in the future. Number 11, use stories every single day if you can. I just find that when I'm using stories, I'm getting more reach, because if you tag your location and you use hashtags in your stories, you're getting your content out there just a little bit more. And B, I think Instagram seems to reward people who are using as many features as they can on the app. So that could be real, it could not be real, I don't know, but for me, I just feel like when I'm using stories, I'm definitely getting more followers than I would if I wasn't using stories. Number 12, use live stories now and again. So for me, this is not something that I do every day. I don't really like using live. It feels a little bit vulnerable for me. But if I'm in a situation where I'm out and I'm in a beautiful destination and, you know, I feel like it would make a nice little live video, I do that just to show people where I am, and I definitely find that when I do that, I see a bit of a spike in my engagement and in my follower gaining. Again, I just think Instagram likes it when you use the features that it has available. 13, participate in giveaways. So at the moment, this is one of the most popular ways to grow your audience quite quickly, and it's a way that people are using quite a lot. So a giveaway is generally organized by a dedicated giveaway account, and they might find 30 to 40 participants, and then the way that people enter is by having to follow all of those participants to win a nice big prize. So you're gaining exposure to potentially, you know, hundreds of thousands of new people, and you're offering your followers a nice prize. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. You do have to pay generally to be a part of these giveaways, especially if you have a smaller following, because that's the way that it's funded. So I've taken part in maybe 3 giveaways this year, and I found all of them went quite well. I gained over 1,000 followers with each one that I did, and most of those people stuck around afterwards. I think I paid between $75 to $100 per giveaway that I entered, and for me it's an investment in my business, so I don't see that as a weird way to spend money. Yes, if it's just a personal account and having those followers and having that exposure to your account doesn't mean anything in a business sense, then it's probably not something you would do. But for me, my account is a business. It is my personal brand. It is something I'm trying to grow, and I think giveaways is a great marketing tool at the moment to get that extra exposure. Also, I think it's important to choose a giveaway that is relevant to your niche. So if you're in travel, you want to pick something that's got a travel prize. Best way to be a part of giveaways, or to find giveaways to be a part of, is to take note of the giveaways that you see pop up in your feed and see which accounts are organizing them. Send them a DM, say, hey, I'd love to be part of your next giveaway, and then, you know, some of them will write back and some of them won't. It's just kind of one of those things. You've got to put yourself out there and see what comes back. And the last one is not a tip, it's just I guess a final note, and something that I think a lot of us, even myself, need reminding of sometimes, is that, you know, you see these big accounts that have hundreds of thousands of followers and incredible engagement, and you don't see them till they're at a point where everything looks amazing. So it's easy to assume that they did it overnight, that all of a sudden they built this brand and they didn't put any work into it, it just happened for them. And I can guarantee you most of the time that isn't the case. These people worked really, really hard on their content. They have spent a lot of time building their audience, and just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So don't be hard on yourself in thinking that, you know, you should be successful overnight, because it's just not going to happen. You need to be dedicated probably for years before you get to a point where you see other people. One of my favorite quotes is, don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle or end. Just stay focused and stay positive, and as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, just keep doing it, and one day you will get there. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you are still watching, thank you for hanging around for so long. I didn't think that that chat would be quite as long as it has been, but I really hope that those tips are helpful for you. Again, this is a question I get a lot, so I just wanted to bundle up everything I've learned in the past 18 months. If there is anything else you want to see from me on IGTV, please leave a comment below. And if you have any more questions about anything I've discussed today, also please ask away. I am always open to getting DMs. I always do my best to reply to everyone's comments on my posts. So yes, until next time, have a good week, guys.